We only had to ride about 5 minutes from our hotel in Killarney to see the next castle on our list, Ross Castle. Ross Castle was built in the late 1400s by the O'Donoghue clan. It was later surrendered to the English military leader Oliver Cromwell. More on Cromwell during tomorrow's ride. On today's ride, we would be going from Killarney to the Rock of Cashel and then on to the village of Thurles. Later in the afternoon, we arrived in the village of Cashel, home to one of the most impressive-looking castles in Ireland. A large portion of Cashel Castle, better known as the Rock of Cashel, was covered in scaffolding for repairs, and the grounds were covered in tourists, so we chose to settle for a view from a distance. The Rock of Cashel was the traditional seat of the kings of Munster for several hundred years prior to the Norman invasion. The oldest and tallest of the buildings is the Round Tower, built in the early 1100s. The other structures were built later in the 12th and 13th centuries. The rector of Devenish, Malcolm Hamilton, who built and lived in Monet Castle, which we visited on day 4 of our trip, became Archbishop of Cashel. He's buried in the graveyard next to the castle.
Look!
While we were photographing Cashel, we noticed some old structures down the hill past Cashel. We decided to go investigate.
We gotta go see that.
What we found was Hoare Abbey. It was an incredible place. Hoare Abbey was founded in 1266. In 1269, the Archbishop at that time banished the Benedictines after he had a dream that they were plotting to murder him. On this last day of our Ireland motorcycle adventure, we'll be riding from Thurles to Dunamaise Castle, then on to Celtic Rider near Dublin to return our motorcycles. On our way to Dunamaise Castle, Sean noticed some ruins off to the right. We decided to turn off the road and check it out. Colahill Castle was built in 1425 and survived many attacks by its enemies until finally falling in 1657 to Oliver Cromwell after destroying it with relentless cannon fire. It wasn't long before we arrived at our final castle of the trip, Dunamaise Castle, also known as the Rock of Dunamaise. Dunamaise was one of the best defensively designed castles in Ireland. It was built in the late 1100s on the site of a 9th century fort. Dunamaise had a drawbridge leading to an outer gate and walled area, which led to a main gate and walled area protecting the Great Hall. Each gatehouse featured inward-facing arrow slots and murder holes, which in some cases, red-hot sand was poured onto the attacking enemy. Dunamaise sits high on top of a hill with an amazing view of the surrounding area. It was quite a disappointment to see this trip come to an end, but I'm sure we'll never forget it.
we were getting ready to turn left, and I just looked down at my GPS, and I looked up, and he had stopped.
Yeah.
And I went around, but we just tapped,
Okay.
and it popped it out, and
Okay.
lost the grommet, or whatever it is
Yeah,
that's
it's a
in
little
there.
grommet that goes in it, yeah. No worries. Okay, we'll look at that. Did he get the back of you on the bus?
Oh, nothing happened to this one.
No, right, it was right on that corner.
See the way the chap says, oh, nothing happened to this one. Yeah. Nothing happened to this one. Oh, yeah.
He's rubbing it in.
He's rubbing it in, yeah. That's amazing, actually, you know, because both of them are actually Rotex engines. Both of them are basically the same engines. They're just tuned by BMW,
Right.
but they're actually 800cc.
Yeah, that's what, we tell everybody. It's like, well, yeah, that's an 800, but so's this one. But
Yeah. Yeah.
then it, I'm a lot heavier than he is.
No, you're not.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's not. No, he's not. Look, don't give him, man. You're getting one up on him now. Don't let that happen.